driver benefits. The vehicle is fueled at the petrol station, so the guy who owns the petrol station benefits. The tourist is driven into a hotel, Serena Hotel or Sheraton or Speak or whichever hotel. You can imagine the waiters, the managers, the cooks, the person who sold the food, all those are benefiting. And the tourists from the hotel is driven, say, to Bwindi. Along the road there are bananas, there are handcrafts for people who are making them, and the tourist is buying these, and lots of people are benefiting. By the time the money comes to Uganda Wildlife Authority, because for us, we start getting the money when this person pays entrance fees at the National Park gate. So even before the National Park gate, the chain of the people who have benefited from this tourist is so big, and that is why it is the only sector that has that trickle-down effect. Look at the people employed, the guides, the tour drivers, all those, the people who sell foodstuffs and handcrafts to these tourists. And by the time the tourist leaves Uganda, if he had come on a 10-day, 12-day tour, you can imagine how many people would have earned from that tourist. So that is how people benefit. But coming back to how a local Ugandan benefits from this, these are your resources, these are our resources. From the revenue that we make from the tourists that visit the park, the law, the Uganda Wildlife Act, mandates us to share 20% of that revenue with the communities neighboring the protected areas. So there is a direct benefit, but this money is given to local government, because we don't just get it and give it to individuals. The communities through local governments come up with projects that they think would benefit them, and those projects will relate to conservation and result in better conservation, better protection of the protected area. And then we look at those projects and we fund them with that 20% of the entrance fee that is paid by visitors, which goes directly to support community projects. So that is 20%. A but also the jobs. If you go to Machon Falls National Park, we employ 165 rangers. These rangers are coming from the areas surrounding the park, the guides. So that is another direct benefit. In Machon Falls again, we have 3 hotels, big hotels, actually more than that, but those are what are inside the national park. Chobe Lodge, Pala Safari Lodge, Pakuba Lodge has resumed also, and quite a number of others outside the park. So many people are employed there. So many other people are supplying food. Those are all benefits to the local communities.
So you were talking about the community surrounding the protected areas getting about 20%. Which distance do you look at from the protected area that this is a community that is supposed to benefit?
We are talking about the immediate parishes. We just those let me define them as local government. The local government which houses the national park is what we call the law. However, when we are giving out the resources, these monies, the projects my boss just talked about, go to the frontline parishes. These are the real parishes that touch, that touch the park. And the formula we use about two indices: the population and the distance. The distance that touches the park and the population of that very parish that touches that park determines how much we are going to give those communities. But also, in addition to the revenue sharing, we have other programs. You did ask. We have like a program of sport hunting, which is mainly done outside protected areas. In the management of wildlife outside protected areas, we are also having a program of sport hunting. It's taking place in the ranches around the Lake Mburo, is in areas of Nakasongola, in areas of Aja, Aswarolim, areas of Katonga, areas of Pianupe, Karenga Community Wildlife Area. So, for example, when an animal is utilized on your land, we give you about 50% of the animal value. Direct. That's when it's resident on your land, and you get that and it's utilized on your land. 50% goes to your pocket. Maybe there are animals which are valued up to $2,000. So that means it's 50%, you just get your $1,000 there.
Personally, as
Yeah,
a person
personal as a
owns the
person.
land.
Yeah, because you are looking after that animal. It's more or less your cow.
There is a big concern regarding encroachment, with people encroaching on wildlife authority land. And sometimes you've taken tough measures. We've had people who have been shot, we've had people who have been forcibly evicted. And the question always remains, if I encroach on land you are not using, you know, it could be a forest or something like that, and then, you know, it's not active. I put my small development on it, you're not utilizing it, and then I got shot. Who is to blame here?
Yeah, thank you for that. And actually, you've raised one of the key issues that we are facing. One of the challenges we are facing is encroachment of the protected areas. You see, the protected areas are gazetted areas. These are government areas that have been set aside as wildlife protected areas with clearly defined boundaries. And you know, the biggest problem we have is that the population, the human population, has been increasing, and the land in Uganda is still the same, static. Now, initially we had fewer, smaller population for the people, the same area. Animals were roaming, they didn't know the boundaries. Up to now, they don't know the boundaries. As the population increases, they need more land, and now they come to squeeze the animals. Now, the challenge you get is that when you encroach, you are putting a garden in the national park, and then that garden will be destroyed by the buffaloes, by the elephants in the national park, because this is their land. And then you'll come to complain that, you know, the animals are destroying my crops when you have encroached. So what we are saying is that people need to understand that these are gazetted areas, and they have clearly defined boundaries, and we need to respect them, because unlike animals, unlike people, the animals don't talk. So somebody has to talk for them. And unfortunately, that person is Uganda Wildlife Authority. So if you allowed what is the scenario you have just explained, that you put your small garden, it's okay. Somebody else also wants to put a similar garden, and another one elsewhere wants to put a similar garden. Within a short time, within a small period, the national park will not be there. And as we have seen, tourism now is the second highest foreign exchange earner for this country. If we lost that, then we are losing. And we will not be doing our duty as Uganda Wildlife Authority, mandated by government to conserve wildlife and protected areas on behalf of Ugandans.
And well, just in relation to that, apart from the encroachment itself, we are looking at the communities that are surrounding the gazetted areas or the protected areas, and the dangers of the animals, the wild animals that could probably escape to the other communities. What measures are you putting in place to see that the communities and the people surrounding the protected areas are protected too?
Yeah, we have a number of measures. We actually have a full department of community conservation at Uganda Wildlife Authority headquarters, but also in each protected area. The role of this community conservation department in the parks is to liaise with the communities, involve them in conservation, come up with programs, because we believe that for any program to be successful, you don't just impose it on people. You work with the people, introduce it, they tell you this one we think it will work, this one will not work. So working with the communities around the protected areas, we have come up with a number of interventions to stop the animals from raiding their crops and destroying their properties. Of course, it is still a challenge because our protected areas are not fenced. We still have areas, protected areas, and then community right there, so they are not fenced. So in some areas, the biggest problem has been the elephants and then the buffaloes. Now we discovered that if you dig a trench, a pit, which is 7 feet wide, 7 feet wide and 5 feet deep, and along the boundary of the protected area, the elephants will not